Hi, I'm Sticko. I'm a parent, I'm tired, and I just watched my toddler lick an iPad. And if you're anything like me, you've probably had this thought before. Are screens ruining my kid's brain or saving mine? Let's be real. Sometimes that screen is the only thing standing between you and a total emotional collapse. But behind the convenience, there's a very real question every parent has to face. In the next 11 minutes, we're going to break down what screens are doing to your kids, physically, mentally, emotionally, and how to manage it wisely, not with guilt, with clarity. This is not about banning tech or raising mini monks. It's about building a sane, balanced system that works in real life, where laundry exists and toddlers throw spaghetti at walls. Chapter 1. The Brain and the Bright Light. Let's start with science. Screen time affects your child's brain differently depending on age, duration, and context. Here's what happens under the hood. Every time your child watches fast-moving cartoons, dopamine spikes. Bright colors, sound effects, quick cuts, these stimulate the brain's reward system like fireworks. But those little dopamine hits, they're not bad in moderation. They're how learning happens. The problem is overstimulation. When kids spend too much time on high-speed content, the brain adapts. It starts craving fast input constantly, and regular life begins to feel boring. Grass grows too slow. Real conversations, not enough jump cuts. Studies show excess screen exposure in early childhood can affect attention span, emotional regulation, and sleep. But here's the nuance. The worst effects happen with passive consumption, mindless, long sessions with no breaks or interaction. Translation? Screens aren't evil, but unmoderated, low-quality screen time is like giving your kid dessert for every meal. Exciting at first, long-term, meltdown city. Chapter 2. The Hidden Cost of Convenience. Here's the honest truth. We don't hand kids screens because we're lazy. We hand them screens because we're overwhelmed. You're juggling a dozen things, trying to make dinner without burning it, answering a work email, folding laundry that's been sitting in the basket for 3 days, and somewhere in there, also trying to parent. In the chaos, a screen feels like survival. It buys you 10 minutes of quiet. Sometimes that's the difference between a meltdown and making it to bedtime with everyone still alive. I once handed my toddler a tablet just so I could eat toast without sharing. Zero regrets, but also, yep, it became a habit real fast. Every time we use screens to prevent a tantrum, to avoid a meltdown, to hush the boredom, we're teaching our kids, without meaning to, that uncomfortable feeling should be escaped instantly. Frustration? Escape it. Boredom? Distract it. Restlessness? Entertain it. The lesson sticks, and it doesn't fade as they get older. It grows roots. If a toddler never learns to sit with boredom, how will a teenager make it through a slow class without texting under the desk? Or how will an adult get through a meeting without checking Instagram every 5 minutes for a dopamine boost? That's the real danger. Not the screen itself, but the reflex it creates. Discomfort equals distraction. We need to understand that boredom isn't bad. It's the birthplace of creativity, emotional resilience, and self-direction. It's where imaginary games begin. It's where kids learn to stretch, explore, make up songs, and build Lego towers just because. And frustration? That's the gym where patience and problem solving are built. You don't need to eliminate screen time. That's not realistic. You just need to stop making it the first response. Let it be a tool, not the default. Start by naming what's happening. When your child says, "I'm bored," don't rush to fix it. Say, "Yeah, boredom shows up sometimes. It's okay. We can be bored together for a bit." That tiny shift, acknowledging and staying with the feeling, is emotional strength training in disguise. Because when kids learn to feel without fleeing, they grow into adults who can pause instead of panic. And that is one of the most powerful skills you can help them build. Chapter 3. Content is king. And court jester. Not all screen time is equal. What your kid watches is just as important as how much. You already know this instinctively. 30 minutes of calm, educational content leaves your kid curious and mellow. 30 minutes of high-speed nonsense with flashing colors and fart jokes? Suddenly, they're sprinting around the house like a raccoon on energy drinks. The reason is cognitive engagement. Educational shows that teach real concepts, letters, emotions, problem solving, activate different brain pathways than chaotic, overstimulating cartoons with no storyline. One type invites the brain to think. The other overwhelms it. Think of it like food. A 30-minute show can be brain broccoli or brain cotton candy. One fuels growth, the other fuels chaos. Neither is bad in isolation, but one should definitely be the main course, and the other should show up more like dessert. In fact, watching alongside your child and having a simple conversation about what you're seeing can triple learning retention. You don't need a worksheet or a lesson plan. Just sitting next to them and asking, Why do you think that character felt sad? Or what do you think will happen next? Turns passive watching into interactive learning. It doesn't take more time, just more intention. Chapter 4, the 90-minute rule. Babies and toddlers don't run on schedules. They run on cycles, 90-minute rhythms of alertness, then rest. And this matters for screen time too. After about 60 to 90 minutes of wake time, a young child starts to shift into rest mode. If a screen is introduced right at that dip, it can override the natural rest signal and push the child into overtired overstimulation. That's when tantrums spike, sleep tanks, and chaos reigns. The solution isn't no screens ever, it's know the rhythm. Try to avoid screens in the hour before naps or bedtime, and whenever possible, pair screen use with a wind-down buffer. Watch a show, then go for a slow walk, or read a book, or stack blocks. Anything real-world helps bridge the gap back into the natural rhythm. Chapter 5, real life is the main course. Screens are dessert, life is the meal. And real life gives your child something screens never can: sensory depth. Dirt between fingers, warmth of the sun, the friction of wooden blocks sliding on a floor. All these textures build the brain in ways no touchscreen ever could. They wire coordination, attention, patience. And bonus, your child is less likely to melt down if they've had enough sensory input earlier in the day. That's why screen-heavy mornings often lead to more emotional dysregulation in the afternoon. The brain is underfed in one area, overfed in another. Make it a daily goal to get your child outside, on the floor, into messes, real mess, real movement, real learning. Chapter 6, screen limits without losing your mind. You've probably tried to set screen limits before. The first time I took away the tablet, my child screamed like I deleted Christmas and snacks from the planet. That's because screens hijack the reward system, put them away too quickly, and the brain responds like it's lost a prize. Here's how to change that. Don't remove screens, replace them. Give the brain a next dopamine hit to latch onto. Try this transition sequence. 1. Give a time warning. 2. Use a timer with visual, auditory cues. 3. Offer a transition activity. 4. Praise the shift. Will this work perfectly every time? No, but it teaches the brain to expect and accept transitions, one of the most valuable life skills a child can develop. Chapter 7. Your screen habits matter more than you think. This one stings, but it matters. Your child watches how you interact with your phone. If your eyes are on the screen more than on them, they notice. They might not say it, but they feel it. We model emotional regulation, boredom tolerance, and connection, or we model escape. This doesn't mean becoming screen-free saints. It means becoming screen-aware humans. Try this. Pick 1 hour a day when your phone is totally out of sight, not in hand, not face down, completely gone. During that hour, give your child undivided attention, even if it's just while folding laundry or going on a walk. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes in both of your nervous systems. Chapter 8. Digital literacy begins at age 2. Most people wait until their kid is in school to teach them about online safety or content. That's too late. By age 2, your child already understands the power of screens. They know what gets attention, what gets laughs, and what gets clicks. Digital literacy means teaching your child early what screens are for, what screens are not for, and how to use them with purpose. This means explaining things like ads, fake videos, privacy, not in tech jargon, but in toddler speak. This video is trying to make you click things so they make money. That character is just pretend. Real people can't jump like that. Teaching this early helps prevent addiction later. Kids who understand the why behind screen rules are less likely to rebel against them. Chapter 9. The real goal. Not less screen time, but more connection. Here's the big idea. You're not just managing screen time. You're managing connection time. A child who feels connected, seen, and emotionally safe needs fewer dopamine surges to feel okay. The more connected they feel with you, the less they'll crave digital escape. Connection doesn't mean hours of structured play. It means brief but real moments. Look into their eyes when you speak, saying, "I see you" with your presence, not just your words. Laughing together over something silly. Screens aren't going anywhere, but neither is your ability to shape your child's world. Not with perfection, with presence. Screens aren't the villain, but they're not a neutral force either. Used wisely, they can support learning, calm, and connection. Used unconsciously, they can short-circuit development, increase meltdowns, and drain your relationship. So what's the solution? It's not unplugging everything, it's plugging in to real moments, mindful limits, better content, and your own habits. Start with one change. Co-watch one show and talk about it after. Set a no screens in the hour before bed rule. Replace one transition meltdown with a guided shift. These aren't massive overhauls. They're small levers with big returns. Because your child doesn't need a perfect system. They need a present guide. Someone who sees what matters, models it, and of course corrects with love, not guilt. So next time your toddler licks the iPad, take a breath, smile, wipe it down. And remember, you got this. If this helped at all, share it with another parent who's just trying to make it through the day without being hit in the face with a toy. Sticko needs the validation, and so does your fellow exhausted parent.